What is up, guys? You're tuning into this Okiru podcast. I'm your co-host, Jasper, and we thank you so much for spending this time with us. We hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure to follow us on our socials at Okiru on Instagram, Okiru on Facebook, Okiru on YouTube, and also Okiru on major platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We hope you enjoy.
Okay.
No introductions. Let's just get into discussion, man.
Yeah, let's just get started.
Let's just get started, man.
No introduction needed.
Ted doesn't need introductions, man. Look at
Ted
him.
needs no introductions. Steady Teddy. How did that name come about?
How did it come about? Originally, my tattoo handle was Get Angry Ted. And I worked in a studio, and my friend and owner of that studio said, we should probably change that up. There's also a famous Australian tattooist named Shaky Bill. And that's where I draw sort of my inspiration from just for Steady Teddy. The irony is that there's so many other artists with way better, steadier work than me. So that name is a lot to live up to.
No, but the name could be an aspiration, right? Because some people buy dresses that they can't fit so that they could one day get into. Is that Steady Teddy?
No, not at all. It was purely gimmickal and false advertisement, really.
So what are the coolest tattoo names and handles? I reckon you've come across some gems out there.
I don't know how to pitch them as cool. I think everyone has a different narrative behind their Instagram plug or their portfolio, like how they promote themselves. Yeah, it's like sex work, you know? Do you really want to use your real name?
That's true.
Not at all. Not at all. Why, they might trace you and find out where you live, or?
I think we all know there's a few creeps out there, you know?
Have you faced any creeps yet?
Mate, I've been tattooing for like 9 or 10 years. We get creeps every week, so... Yeah.
What was the creep this week?
Oh, creepiest week. I can't tell you from the top of my head. Hey, there's definitely some stories where the police got called.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So when I was apprentice, we named these two brothers Reeky Reese because one of them was named Reese and they fucking stunk. And one of the brothers was getting tattooed and the other one was just being a bit of a menace. They were probably on something really strong. And we had a young lady that was getting tattooed on her ribs, so she's quite exposed.
Yeah.
And Ricky Reese's brother was being a creep. So I sort of ushered him outside and was like, hey, do you want a cigarette? Because he looked like he was fiending for a cigarette. And I ushered him outside. I was like, you can't go back in there, mate. And then he chucked up a fuss and started smashing like all these windows, not of the studio windows, but our neighbors. And eventually the cops got called. So that was a creepy one. That's one of the many
100%.
creepy ones. Yeah.
How'd you handle that so calmly though? Like,
I think because I was apprentice, I wanted to, like show my commitment to the other artists and to the studio.
yeah.
He could have done anything to me, but I wasn't really thinking that at all. I was kind of looking out for the studio and that young lady getting tattooed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could have smashed him.
So I spoke to Kevin, like, you develop this confidence because you know you can fuck the other guy up.
Yeah. This guy wasn't walking in a straight line, so it wouldn't have taken much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But tattooing apprentice, like for me, I have no tattoos, and this is the first time I've walked into a studio or parlour since that time I walked into one in Vietnam like 6 years ago, and I was looking for weed.
Oh, yeah. You won't find any weed here.
By the books, all legal here. So, because tattooing, it's permanent, and a lot of people's like, all right, when you get started, how did you get started, and how did you want to share your art in a sense?
I was very, very lucky into my introduction to tattooing. I had two very, very close friends of mine that were already tattooists who worked in a studio. And at the time, I was really young and I was still studying at RMIT. Excuse me. And I had taken a year off to take care of my mum, who was ill. She inevitably passed away, and I had the remainder of this gap year off, in which I ran an absolute muck. And my friend, who was a tattooist, said, "Hey, Teddy, come in, do some business cards for me, just to give me a task and to like keep me out of trouble." And that's what I did. I designed the shittiest looking business card ever in my mate's tattoo studio, and then I sort of just stuck around at the studio, and the owner of the studio was an idiot and didn't really question. He was sort of like, "So who's the new guy?" So that's how I got into tattooing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you've been tattooing for what, a decade now, pretty much, right?
Yeah. It's hard to say, like it's been 10 years since I started, but I've had so many periods of like on and off, just through like getting injured or like with the lockdowns and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's say 10 years. Yeah.
So you get injured because of tattooing, or what's this?
During my apprenticeship, I cut the two tendons in my hand, in my dominant hand, which made I couldn't move these two fingers here. They move fine now.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. Thank you, Western Health, for that.
Shout out to Western Health.
Yeah. I put my hand through someone's car window and cut the tendons in my hand, so I couldn't draw or do anything with my right hand for a couple of months. And then in 2017, I got into a motorcycle accident.
Oh shit.
Yeah, where my leg was traumatically amputated. That is what was written down. That's how I would describe it. It was pretty rough, but yeah. And so that took a little while to bounce back from.
Right.
But yeah, I think I tattooed 3 months after I got it amputated. Yeah. But it was like
that's wild.
Under the table sort of stuff, which is not under the table anymore because I'm on a podcast.
Now that you learn that.
Yeah.
Traumatically injured. And that's how they described it officially. So the doctors wrote that on a piece of paper and traumatically amputated,
Yeah.
you actually said.
Yeah. So do you want me to tell you how it all
Yeah.
happened?
Please.
So I was heading back to my house in Footscray at the time, and I had a friend in her car behind me because I was going to drop off my motorbike to go watch a movie with them. As we did this turn that I have done hundreds and thousands of times, I was in the far right lane, and there's 3 lanes, and I was indicating to turn left to merge into the furthest left lane to make the next turn. And sorry, I'm used to mics in my face. So when I did a head check to do the turn, and do the turn right in front of me, someone had what they call it T-boning.
Yeah.
So someone had came straight out and hit me as I was sort of merging into them. And from there, I just remember hitting the car, flipping for ages. And then eventually I came to, I stopped rolling, sorry. And it hasn't been the first time, it wasn't the first time I've come off a motorbike. So I just wanted to get up to let my mate know that's like, hey, I'm alive, I'm okay, I'm in good shape. As I tried to get up, I fell back down.
Oh fuck.
And then I realized my left foot was facing me.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there, I just sort of lied back down, and I just remember being really bummed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and then my friend got out of the car, checked up on me, and she tried to do what she could, but she freaked out and then called her partner at the time, who was a guy that I used to ride with. I ride with all the time, and he came down. But in that time, I just remember the driver that hit me and her mother. It was a really young girl that hit me, and she was learning how to drive.
Oh god.
Yeah. To this day, I have no hard feelings towards her
Yeah.
at all. You know, like I had lawyers telling me, it's like, do you want to do criminal charges? It's like, no, she didn't try to bloody kill me or anything. I didn't remember her screaming, being like, oh my God, is he dead? But yeah, so I was lying there and I had always kept my cigarettes in my jacket pocket. And I was trying to roll myself a cigarette because I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, being in a pool of my own blood, I was like, I could really go a cigarette right now. And there was a gentleman named Jamie whose family, his dad was served in the Scottish Reserves or Army, and his mum was a nurse. He saw what happened to me from where he was living, ran over, took his shirt off, and tourniqueted my leg because he knew what to do. I had no idea what to do. I was like, this is it. Give me a ciggy. He did that and he was great. He just chatted to me. He's like, you're right, mate. I'm like, it's not great, is it? He's like, it's not really pretty. And then I was asking him for a lighter because I couldn't find my lighter at the time. But yeah, it was pretty lucky. I got hit a block and a half away from the Footscray cop shop. Yeah, so they closed it off pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some like factors of the story that really sort of upset me and make me think back about was that I remember people stopping and getting out of their cars to film me.
Oh.
What the heck?
Yeah, and I was fully conscious. I was like, what makes you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so odd.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like multiple people stopped, got out of their way, took out their phones, and then started recording the scene of an accident.
Yeah.
And just got back into their car.
I have no idea where they went. By this time, the coppers had come and they said, you probably don't need that cigarette right now. And I was like, fuck off.
Yeah.
And then eventually the ambulance came and they're like, you can't smoke that in the ambulance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I got taken away to the Royal Melbourne Hospital where they try to manage my pain as best they could. I remember in the fucking ambulance, they were like, you need to call your dad. And I just couldn't tell him. Yeah, I couldn't tell him how bad it was. I just had to tell him, like, I've been in another motorcycle accident and it's really bad this time, Dad. Yeah. And that's why I haven't bought another motorbike. Yeah, I just couldn't do that. I can't do that to him.
No
But
way.
I can hide one from him. But I just couldn't, I couldn't do that again.
What was the feeling of looking down and seeing your foot face you? Then, because you are in a lot of shock, but you're fully conscious this whole time, and you realize you try and stand up, you can't, so you sit back down and you're like, okay, my foot's looking at me. You're stunned.
I was trying to roll a cigarette, so I was trying to keep myself occupied. If you ask my friend Collins, he'll tell you when he came to see me and like comfort me around with Jamie. All I said to him was like, dude, I'm so bummed out.
Yeah.
I am so bloody bummed out because I've broken things before, and you can bounce back from it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think having two other friends that had lost their legs, I knew the result of the accident was like definitely amputation.
At that point in time, you knew
Right there and then,
that you
dude.
lost.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
even in the hospital, the plastic surgeon said, as I'm like not even within the hour of me getting into the accident, they said, the plastic surgeon said, okay, we can do reconstructive surgery, but there's no guarantee that you'll ever be able to bear weight on it.
Okay.
Or we can amputate and we can probably get you back on your feet. Like, within 6 months to a year. And I just called it. I was like, yeah, take
made
it
the
off.
call.
Yeah,
Wow.
amputate. So yeah.
Fuck, that's heavy.
But it sounds, and thank you for sharing your story.
That's all good.
Ed.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
It's all good.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds like an acceptance very early on, and at that moment, at the scene of the accident as well, because you sitting there, rolling the cigarette, and
I thought I was going to die for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So already you felt lucky that you survived then.
I think I had pretty much accepted my fate. And then it was only until I started getting help from Jamie tourniqueting my leg, from my friend Ellie, calling me to be like, hey, are you okay? And then my friend Collins to be there and, just talk me through it. And then, all the healthcare workers, all the ambulance drivers and everyone there is like, cool, no, they're gonna help me through this. Mentally, I think what helped me was what I said before, like having two friends that had already lost their legs, and having a friend, like one of them is in really out of shape, and he has always blamed other people for his problems or not understanding his disability, and has become quite bitter as an alcoholic or whatever. And the other bloke that lost his leg is a fucking legend. Yeah, like you see him getting around. He's got a little dog with him, and he tells his story with a really light heart. So he got shot in the foot by his dad.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember he always says like, if it was trying to kill me, he would have aimed a bit higher. Yeah.
True.
I'm like, that is some fucking dark humor, right? Yeah.
That's incredible. Like, look, you've just explained that there's two sides of what you could do in a terrible situation, in terrible circumstance. And you've, like to say, the high road, right? Many other people you were given the option to put criminal charges on this young girl.
Yeah, that shit was never going to happen, though.
Of course. But, like, if it was any other person, who knows? They would have done it, like, out of that spite, out of revenge, because look where I am now. But you decided to be like, no, like, it was all an accident. Like, she didn't mean to hit me. And she doesn't deserve to go.
I think, like, in Australia, we were so well set up. We are incredibly well set up. So we have a traffic accident commission. Yeah. Which means the majority of your registration fees for your motor vehicles or whatever, this goes into the traffic accident scheme. There is no scheme like that in, let's say, America, where if I do get hit, I'm like, I'm going to sue your ass, dude, because there's no support for him, right? I remember as soon as I came to, there was a traffic accident TAC agent there to tell me, he's like, hey, you're going to be supported. Yeah. I had no idea about the TAC. Yeah, I thought they were just like commercials that tell you not to drink and drive. And then I got into it a little bit more and learnt about it a lot more. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, some of my friends were trying to set up a GoFundMe. I was like, nah, dude, I got TAC, baby.
TAC, baby. But you see in Russia, and you see videos on YouTube of the dash cams of people trying to roll over in front of a car. So it can become a bit of a scam or a business, if you will.
Yeah.
But it sounds like we are very lucky. Tell us more about the TAC then, because you've done some work with them ongoing as an advocate or the ambassador of sorts, right?
Well, I took them to court. There's not really a lot I could talk about. I guess it's all settled now, so I can talk about it. Yeah. No, they've been great. They've been so supportive and everything. And when I say I took them to court, it's because I was trying to squeeze $1 out of a dime, Yeah. I hope I can talk about that. I hope my lawyers are cool with that.
Unless we're not, let's be safe and we don't want to get in trouble.
No, it's all sorted. What are they going to do? Sue me? No, the TAC is great. They're awesome. From they take care of a certain percentage of your salary. And it's so hard to navigate as a tattooist what your salary is. Because from week to week, month to month, season to season even, it varies. as well as medical expenses. Like prosthetics are insanely expensive, and I have medical expenses that are fully compensated for the rest of my life.
Wow.
It's insane. Wow. Yeah. I've been an amputee for 5 years. I've probably gone through like 12 or 13 legs now. Yeah. I just keep breaking them. I don't know. Yeah.
Break a leg.
Break a leg, man. Yeah. I'm breaking a leg.
You're breaking a leg.
Yeah. 2 every year or so now. Yeah. So, as well as, the overall compensation for, they call it pain and suffering. And that's where the whole court thing.
Yeah.
Because I was so young, and it's so hard to gauge, what economic loss would happen from it. Because like being an amputee, when you're young, you're like, you can bounce back really quick. But as I've, the longer and longer I've been an amputee, I've had problems with my back where I blew out my L4, L5.
Wow.
My MCL is like gone. And my hips, they don't lie anymore. It's yeah. And I'm turning 30 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how have you bounced back?
Yeah.
You spoke about bouncing back quite often so far in our chat, right? It's the pain and suffering and them giving you a monetary value, but the pain and suffering is immense because as we age, as we get to 30, we realize there's things we can't do anymore. But being an amputee, you've realized that there's a lot you may not be able to do after the accident, right? How do you deal with that mentally, and what tools, and how have you been able to bounce back? Because you are a fucking legend, as you say,
man.
right?
I think knowing that I have leg replacements for the rest of my life, I live even fucking harder than when I had 2 biological legs. Yeah. Yeah, I fucking send it all the time.
Full send.
Yeah, full send all the time. But the support came from like my mates and, and my family and everyone, where like, if I could give an example, when I was in the hospital bed recovering, the first few weeks, they had to shut down the fucking ward because all my mates were trying to come through and like check on me and make sure I was all right and everything. They eventually had to put me in a different room because I can have as many visitors as I can at the time. Yeah, so it's definitely the love and support of your friends. Like, if you think about it, like, if you saw your friends crying by your bed, the first thing you want to do is like, I'm fucking good. Yeah, I'm gonna be. Don't worry about me. Yeah. Don't lose any more sleep over me. I'm good.
Yeah.
So that was my approach. Yeah.
But the universe is like a mirror, right? You get what you put in, and I think it's your joy and your happiness and your incredible vibes and your jokes. That's why people have come and they got you the palace suite at the hospital. As well, right?
Yeah, it wasn't the best suite. It was right next to the helicopter emergency, like the ambulance helicopter. So
that's at the Alfred.
Yeah. No, I was at Royal Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been Team Royal Melbourne for a long time. Yeah. What's Epworth trying to poach me? Yeah. It was kind of funny if you want to hear a story. So people would never believe this. So like, when you become a young amputee that's covered by TSC, prosthetic clinics really, really want you to do your rehabilitation with them. And Epworth had approached me, and they're like, hey, like, we have this great setup and we have these great like practitioners or whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. And then the head of prosthetics and orthotics or something at Royal Melbourne Hospital said to me, it's like, oh, you got a few tattoos. You can get like, you can get tattoos on your prosthetic. I'm like, I was like, nah, I don't want that shit. That shit looks weird. Yeah. And he just says like, yeah, I totally understand. Like, have you ever been in a sex shop and they just look too real? I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Mark.
Shout out to Mark.
The Royal Melbourne Hospital.
Yeah. And I was like, Team Royal Melbourne for sure.
It's like they're trying to draft you for like an NBA team.
Yeah, dude.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. It did. Like my rehab was like, I don't think I've ever been more fit in my life than when I was doing my rehabilitation.
Wow.
Yeah. I was lean and they made me run on these treadmills where like I'm strapped up.
Yeah.
It was also to validate to get the prosthetics that I wanted. If I to keep it brief, like there's 4 levels of prosthetics and however many levels in between those levels. I was going for the top 3 to 4, which are like high performance. You can go from a walk to a jog. You can go from elevated, elevations, like from downslope, upslope. You can go through, different terrains of like sand, water, salt water.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going for. And they said, you need to train your fucking ass off for us to sign off that TAC is going to give you, like, fund that prosthetic. Yeah.
I saw one on your Instagram story about a blade on your leg. When are you going to get that?
Oh my God, that guy's a legend. What's his name? The guy with one leg. Everybody check this guy out. He he juggles his prosthetics, which are on fire.
Oh, what the fuck?
He's an amazing skateboarder with one leg. I used to skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember trying to get back on the board after I had my accident. As soon as I landed a kickflip with one leg, I was like, cool, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Retired.
I'm like, I'm retired. Yeah. It was just too upsetting to know like the level of skating I used to do.
Yeah.
And I'm getting old and it was sore as fuck. I was scared of blowing out my knee, which I already have done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you got to be careful.
But yeah, Royal Melbourne Hospital, give me a blade leg.
Is that the ones they use for running?
No. They're called blades as well. They're like called cheetah blades. Oh. Yeah, this was an actual sword.
Like a katana.
Yeah.
Is it like, have you seen the movie, what's it called? Kingsman?
Yeah.
It's got the chick with the prosthetic legs with the fucking swords. Is it like that?
No,
Oh,
dude.
damn.
Yeah, that shit's all bullshit. Yeah. I have never seen a leg that like a bright blade that comes out like a switchblade, but for legs. And she'll be slipping around like crazy on that thing. I don't know how she loses all traction control for sure.
So how'd you get back into tattooing post the accident? What was your mindset then? Because it feels like to me as a tattoo artist, you're essentially an artist. How did your art transform pre and post the accident?
I don't think my accident has changed had any effect on my style of tattooing at all. My style has always been influenced by like the environment of the studio that I'm in or like my peers. Yeah. And I guess that just comes down into like this setup that I have here at Anderson Street Tattoo, where we discussed earlier. It's sort of like, it's a street shop. It's like an old barber shop where my client can talk to your client. I can talk to that other person's client. We're yelling across the room, you motherfucker, like this. People come off the streets and like, I want to get a sleeve done. I got $200 and I got to get out of here in 30 minutes. Like that's the vibe of our shop. Yeah. And you can work in other studios where a private studio where I'll work a room next to someone and I haven't seen a single tattoo they've done in the last month or so.
Oh.
Yeah. So my style has definitely changed from my peers and who I work with more so than from my accident.
So it's very community based, and I think like a barbershop, you go in there and you talk to the others, right? And I find for men, barbershops are a great place to talk about your own mental health and have a real chat sometimes, or
definitely.
just talk shit, right?
Yeah.
But over the years, like how have the conversations been in a tattoo studio, especially as a street one walking in? Have
Mate,
you get some
they-
deep shit, or do
Yeah,
you?
it's like it's a mix of everything. Yeah, it could be something as stupid as like sports or something, or like someone likes pickles in their burger, and you're like, you fucking idiot, pickles are gross. You know? Yeah, it varies so much. I couldn't tell you from the top of my mind. Like,
Yeah.
you guys just got to you got to be a fly on the wall in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's never boring.
Never a dull moment.
Never
Yeah,
a dull moment in here.
100%.
Never a dull moment. Yeah. Too many stories to tell, hey. Many of which I shouldn't.
Okay. What's your favorite piece that you've done on someone?
There's a standout piece like I've done quite recently where I did a hanya just below the belly button of this young lady's belly button, and afterwards I was just like, I fucking nailed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you guys could imagine where with your craft and everything, you're like, okay, cool, I can tighten up with this and this. Tattooists are the worst at that. We're like, I fucking suck. I should fucking quit. We're so judgmental with our work. It's so critical. I'm sure there's a word for it, but you know what I mean.
Critical is an important word. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did this tattoo, and I'm like, I was amazed that I did it so well, and I got this praise from some of the other artists in here. That was like, this is probably some of your best work.
Yeah.
And we do give ourselves a pat on the back, and we also build each other up as well. But like to hear it from your peers in a genuine way, not in a way to like pick you up.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the milestones of my tattooing. Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's important to be critical. Like, I'm very hard on myself. I'm often telling myself, like, I'm a moron, I'm a dumbass. I'm like, no, you're smart. I'm like, no, I'm pretty dumb. Like, if you like know what's inside my head, I'm like, it's pretty empty in there. But I think that's why I like to learn things, because it's like, if I know everything, if I like, oh, I don't need to learn that. Like, then there's no purpose for me to learn something like that. Or if it's when I'm designing anything, and I'm often like hard on myself, because you can always do better, right? You always feel like you can add those little improvements.
No, of course.
But it's because of those moments where you're so hard on yourself, when you have that light bulb where like, oh wow, I'm really proud of this. It feels great.
Oh, dude, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, it's so rewarding.
But they're
right?
so few and far.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely agree with you too. Like, there's such a thin line, the thinnest fucking line between being critical and then there's being self-deprecating.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, there is.
Yeah, and it's like I said, where does it fall? Yeah.
Where does that line draw, right?
Yeah, tattooing, that's the hardest part about tattooing, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, trying to find that balance. Yeah.
So how have you improved and built upon your craft in the past decade?
Being humble, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being humble. I hope, like, I don't walk around saying I got my black belt in tattooing or anything like that, Like, yeah, I still have such an apprentice mindset, we have an artist here that's been tattooing for half as long as I do, and I watch her tattoo. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How the fuck did you just do that? I think maybe now that I've the mechanics of tattooing, sure, like I know a little bit more, but it's the design. It's like, how did you come to create this image?
Yeah.
More so than the finish itself. I'm like, the finish could be like, oh, you use this machine with this sort of pigment and you do this motion, right? But it's the creativity now that I'm like still, I get so inspired by it, like an apprentice would be, Yeah.
Is that white belt mentality? Like, it's something that's so important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have no belts. If I did, I've lost all of them for sure. Yeah.
And how about mastery then? What does mastery in your craft mean to you?
Mastery, hey.
So there's no belts, no black belts, no third Dan.
I think I surround myself with people that are quite humble. So I don't even know how to answer that. Hey, yeah. Even if, let's say, someone thought they were the hottest shit, even if their tattoos were cool, that attitude has already put a dampener on their work, right?
Yeah.
Like, cool, you do great tats, but I don't want to wear any of your tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't want that energy on me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what is mastery? Like you said, so
What is mastery?
yeah, like you might think you got the coolest tattoo ever, right? And that's you wear it. I might think that could use a bit more black.
Of course.
Right?
Of
But like, who
course.
cares? Who cares what I think?
Yeah.
You got to wear it and it looks sick on you, right? And you wear it really proudly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard tattoos being described as wearing it before, but it's completely right.
It is.
Right? And look, the body is a canvas, and I'm sure you've got a lot of pieces from your mates as
Oh,
well.
God, yeah. It's like a fucking yearbook, sketchbook in here. All over, everywhere. Yeah.
And that must be a lot of fun, right?
Oh, it's-
Over time. Like, it would have
fun when it's
changed.
healed.
Say it again.
It's fun when they're healed. It's not fun getting them done.
Ah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So for someone with a lot of tattoos, the pain never goes away, does it?
The pain gets worse as the older you get, man. Yeah. I remember sitting like maybe 7 or 9 hours on my chest as a young man. Oh, fuck. No numbing cream, no nothing.
Yeah.
And then going out partying afterwards. And now I got like a calf tattoo from my friend Hannah a little while ago. Like 20 minutes in, I just got off the table. I was like, Hannah, I need a break. Yeah. And I had to go at the back, have a cigarette and be like, can I fucking do this right now? It's like, can I like tap out in front of like all my peers? So yeah. Tattoos fucking hurt.
Okay. So the pain never goes away, then you don't get
It
used to
never goes away. Yeah. Well, like once you're not tattooing anymore, it goes away. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm in constant pain.
Yeah.
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 How about when someone comes in and they want a piece and you're just like in your head, that's silly. You probably do that. I think of that all the time, but you're a business, right? But is there any ethics? Be like, you shouldn't get that. Don't do that.
Of course, yeah. I think like the further along in my career I've had, like I developed, the right language to sort of approach that situation. When I was apprentice though, and I was making no money and I wanted to learn, I was like, I don't give a fuck what you want to wear on you, dude. I'll do it on you. Yeah. As long as it's like, not like anything offensive,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I can do color realism. It's like, I don't even own any color pigments. But now, since me, Spike, Ethan, and Palmer opened up this shop, we've really encouraged people to, you can turn away work,
Yeah.
And I guess like working in for street shops for ages, it was like whatever comes in, you got to do it.
Yeah.
But you can just turn it away, and then they'll go to some other shop, and then that's some other shop's headache,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
That's their
Yeah.
problem.
So that's our approach now.
So what does the everyday person need to know about tattoos, or if someone's wanting to get their first piece? What would a seasoned veteran of the industry?
This might sound really obvious and really stupid, but like just know what you want to get tattooed, right? Some
Yeah.
people might be like, I want to get a tattoo of a dragon. And you're like, I could draw a dragon 700 fucking different ways,
Yeah.
right? And then they'll be like, oh, okay. Because it baffles me
I want
sometimes.
a dragon.
Yeah. Well, no, it's mainly common with flowers. Like, I want flowers. And like, okay, what flower? Or like, where, like, how would you like it done? What style would you like it to be done? Would you like it to be color or
Yeah.
black and gray or whatever? That, I know it sounds so obvious, but it's like so ball breaking to hear all the time.
So it happens a lot.
Dude, I could show you my emails. Sometimes like people email me of a picture of someone else's tattoo, and they'll just do $? ?
Efficient.
Yeah, and that just goes straight into the fucking bin, that email.
Yeah.
So what's the process? They give you a detailed description, or do you get people coming in like, hey, I have this artwork that I kind of want on my my body? What's the
Yeah,
whole
I think
process
there's a few different approaches from it, and usually, like, let's say if it's someone's first tattoo, they'll they have lots of questions, and like you have to be accommodating. We're so accommodating towards that. Like, please, like, the more questions you ask me, the more comfortable you're going to be with this process, right? And there's other people that have had a few more tattoos and they totally get it, and how they navigate it is like, hey, I'd really like to get this tattoo around this size in this spot, black and gray. They'll take a photo of the area where they'll get it done, and they'll attach images of reference of how they'd like it to look.
Right.
And then it's from there, it's just the design process of like how I'm going to draw a design as close to what they want as possible. And then from there, it's sort of like a game of compromise, right? They might be like, hey, I really like this element, but can you do this?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, we can, but this might happen.
Yeah.
So it's a compromise between client and tattooist. Most of the time, people are like, that's fucking sick. Let's go.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if you're getting your first few tattoos or your first tattoo, it's so intimate. I could imagine it's so intimidating to ask these questions, you know, because they might seem obvious to them, obvious to us, and they don't want to be seen as asking a silly question. There is no silly questions at all. So that would be my approach. The more you portray and the more questions you ask, the better.
Definitely. Yeah. I think that's something we've learned recently is the power of asking. Like, it's so important. Like, even if it's just a stupid question, it's better to get clarity than to get something done and be like, what happened? You know?
Yeah.
You never know the answer as well. So it's always ask.
Always ask.
Always ask.
That's why I always watch the other tattooists in here. Like Ethan, who's my mentor. I watched him pull certain lines. Like, it's so hard to pull such a, like a perfect circle, right?
Yeah.
And I saw him, how he broke it down. I'm like, that's so fucking simple. Yeah. It took me 10 years to fucking think about that. You know? Yeah.
The power of the ask, but also the power of being prepared as well. Yeah. So the more information I can give you on my wants and my requirements, the better you are in meeting them, right? And it goes with all work as well. And Jasper, you're a designer as well. And then the more information I can give you and the better the brief, the better work you can return, right?
Makes it easier, right? And it's that constant communication of talking back and forth. Like, it's necessary, right?
Absolutely.
But there's always that fear, like you said, like, if it's a stupid question or am I like taking too much of your time? But like,
dude, it's an email, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you're talking to someone that's like getting aggravated by your questions, stop talking to them. Like, seriously. Find someone else who's willing to help you.
Yeah. You would know for sure, like, the older you get, you know how to filter through things, right? Yeah, I don't need to take on every single brief, every single design. Yeah. I should be enjoying my craft now.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But it took some time to get to that level, right? Of like, sometimes you have to go through that period of like doing so many work so that you can build that mastery, and then you can earn the right to be like, I get to pick and choose.
Absolutely. I think like there's tattoo, as much as an aloof as the tattoo industry is to everyone else, tattooing is just like any other job, right? Like, you do a job to pay the bills.
Exactly.
Then you do a job to pay your soul. Yeah. Right? And it's like any other job. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't sell weed here. like you might think in Vietnam.
Don't get confused.
Don't get confused.
Wow, that's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
A job that pays the bills, but then a job to feed your soul.
Yeah.
What are the jobs that feed your soul then?
I think like I like doing like really classical tattoo imagery. So they would be like dragons, tigers, snakes, and everything. Like, and you can imagine, the classic tattoo imagery. Yeah. And there's other things, like that they're not as rewarding, but it doesn't mean I still don't approach it with the same seriousness and enthusiasm, right? Like, someone might come in and want to get mum tattooed on their wrist. And I'm like, I still bring that same energy to that tattoo. I'm like, when are you going to come in and get dad on the other side or something, Yeah.
So why do people keep coming back to you? What's your secret sauce? Obviously you've got great energy.
That's
right?
it, dude. Yeah, obviously, like, tattooing is so intimate. I'm marking you for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're giving me a fucking large sum of money for it most of the time,
Yeah.
you know? Tattoos are fucking expensive. That's why I became a tattooist, so I could get them for free. But yeah, obviously your work reflects yourself, your
Yeah.
quality of work, and as well as, you know, your approach to it. Yeah. You have to understand that someone's come to you and is paying you for a lot of money. So you should be accommodating to them. Yeah, it's so bloody intimate, dude.
It's
Yeah.
quite an honor as well, right? That they're coming to you, they love your art, and they're like, hey, brand me for life.
Yeah. Dude, when people email me, people that I've never met before, and they say, I want you to tattoo my whole back. Oh, shit. I'm like, have you sent this to the right person? Sometimes like, are you sure about this? Yeah. It's like we said earlier, it's the balance between
Yeah.
critical and self-deprecating, right? It's like, you sure you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just as unsure about doing it as you wanting to get it done, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
But the beauty of that is that balance, whether you are second guessing yourself, is that you put in so much more effort because the customer is giving you so much money and they're giving you the honor of tattooing their body. It's like, all right, I'm going to give it my fucking all and do the best work that I possibly can.
I think the honor itself, like that privilege and yeah, it's that trust, no sum of money. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so fucking serious. Yeah, like the back, for example, that's like prime real estate.
Yeah.
Right? And you just offered me prime real estate. Are you fucking joking? Yeah, but like it's so surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now, like I've done it for a while where I can do full backs and like quite larger pieces and stuff. Yeah, I'm very, very lucky to be in the position that I am and to have the clientele and you know what I mean? Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm very, very lucky. Yeah, and I never, ever take them for granted. Yeah.
That's it. Is there any pressure? Like, what's the pressure? I can't imagine because you can't make a mistake, right? Because once you start marking, it's there for life, right?
A big part of learning how to tattoo is learning how to fix tattoos.
Right.
Yeah. So there is overwhelming pressure.
Yeah.
We're human beings, you know? Things happen where they move. I know that perfect line isn't perfect anymore, you know? Or
They sneeze.
they sneeze. Like we're human beings. There's so many factors of failing. Not failing, but like mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And so what I said, like a big part of learning how to tattoo is learning how to fix them as well. But yeah, the pressure's fucking skits, man. The pressure is insane.
Yeah.
I think now that being part owner of a studio, the pressure is even greater than ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your reputation's behind that too, right?
The reputation, but like for myself, I don't know how to make this sound pretty. Like most of the artists, some of the artists from my shop have come from studios that are quite questionable. Not questionable. They weren't treated as best as they can.
Right.
Does that make sense? So when they come here, I don't want them to feel that they're gonna be mistreated, mistalked to. Like we're so to the point here. We're like, to be honest with you, like it's let's say it's a monetary thing. I'm pretty sure these artists that we've hired make more money than I do. Yeah. Like we want to give them such a great time, like a good time to grow enough where like they can go to another studio and learn and develop even further, right? Like take this as a stepping stone rather than them being a cash cow.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. So that pressure of being like, I need to accommodate these artists as best as I can. Like how do me and my partners do that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Ted, look, Liv and I, we're having this conversation, and he said you have such incredible energy, and I'm feeling that as well. And I can see you're a very selfless person. Have you always been like this?
Dude, how the fuck can a selfless person comment on that? Yeah, I've always been like selfless.
Well, what was the process?
That was a joke, by the way.
I guess let me reframe that question. What was the process of you becoming like this person that cares so much about his employees and just everyone around them?
Because I was mistreated. Me and the owners, we came from a shop where we were mistreated. We worked for years on a 50% commission without supplies. That is fucking unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
without supplies.
Without supplies. So like disposable
Yeah.
supplies like paper towels, cling wrap, gloves, the tongue depressors that you were surprised to see at the back before.
Yeah.
For a 50% commission. So everything I made, I had to give 50% of it to the owner. We all did. And there was no reward for, let's say, being really good to the shop.
Yeah.
Which is like one of my mentors. He literally ran that shop.
Yeah.
And he took care of all the other artists in there from his work alone. And he wasn't rewarded or even appreciated for that. Yeah. So when we started our own shop, we're like, dude, this is going to be the fucking Disneyland of tattooing. Yeah, for tattooists.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where our approach has come from, mainly.
But what about you as a person? You've got such great, incredible energy.
Well, tell us about your old man then.
My dad?
Because, yeah, he's such a lovable guy as
He is,
well.
isn't
And at
he?
your parties, right?
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
celebrate Ted, but just as much, we celebrate your dad.
Yeah, he's a bit of a party animal, my dad. He just knows how to have a good time. Yeah. When he's hungover, though, he's not a great time. Yeah. I think like having parents that are, refugees, boat people, and they tell you about their trip to get to Australia, you have to be so fucking humble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, mate, like I went on a boat trip with my partner and her family, and we were on a boat for 2 nights and 3 days. And all I could think about was how the fuck did my parents get here on a boat? Yeah. And this boat was luxe as fuck compared to the one that they got here on. So
Where were you again?
I was in Whitsundays, man. I was in
Yeah.
I was in the Queensland. Great weather, great sand, great beaches. Yeah.
As luxe as you could probably get compared to a leaky, fishy fishing boat at
Yeah.
Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
but
70s and 80s.
like the majority of my family that came to Australia are boat people. And the stories that they told me, there's no filter as Asian parents, We'll be having a nice meal and my dad will say, it's like, yeah, I had to climb the tallest mountain to bury a dead baby. And then we had to quickly board the boat because the pirates came and saw us. Yeah. Or like my uncle just telling us like, yeah, we had to resort to cannibalism. Because, before they were found out. Heaps of stories like that. Yeah. There's heaps of funny ones too. I didn't mean to get just so dark just there. But yeah.
No, but there are also a lot of untold stories.
There's a
as
lot of
well
untold
that
stories.
are held so deep inside. And for me, like my old man, he doesn't even go near water. He can't go for swims or anything like that. He'd always be watching over the years. And look, I haven't asked him about that for a long, long time, but it makes me want to say, hey, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
As well, all right? Because that's some trauma and some stuff that's hidden and tucked away that he's holding on for so long. And like what your family have shared.
I guess that's why my dad's a party dad, because when all you Asian boys come around, he's like, look at the fruits of my labor, Yeah. Had to travel through shaky seas, get shot at by pirates, starve, like dehydrated, for you guys to get wasted in my backyard.
Oh, yeah. How's the garden these days?
We just sold the family house, so it looks great.
Yeah, a lot of work has gone into it.
Yeah, a lot of work has gone into it. Yeah.
What happened? What's the reason behind the sale?
So when mum passed away, I didn't want to live in that house anymore. Yeah, and it's taken my dad 10 years to sort of feel the same way as I have. And a big part of like Vietnamese culture is like the oldest son will take care of the parents. Yeah. So I bought a house, and I told him I was going to buy a house on my own. And he said, hey, I think it's time that we let go of this house. And my mum's original plan was the house is 50-50 with me and my sister. So we sold the family house, and with my portion of the family house, we got a fucking bowler house for me and dad. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
Congratulations on buying a new house.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. The street. I'm not going to name the street on this podcast.
Is the postcode Turak or something?
No. I'm born and raised in the West Side. So yeah. Yeah.
Look, there was a moment after one of your parties, and it was a somber moment for me, right? I think me, Roger, and Ricky were just on our way out, and towards the end, we just lit some incense and paid respects to your mum. And for me, that was a beautiful moment of just honoring her.
Man, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I really, really appreciated that. Yeah.
And yeah, I can visually remember it, and I feel it in my body at the moment too. And look, I can't imagine losing my mother at any age, right?
Yeah.
And obviously it's a big gap that would leave you because of a reason why you can't live in your current house because of certain memories or...
Yeah. Yeah, that was such a beautiful moment. Yeah, I had like so many friends roll in, just like how all my friends rolled in when I got hit. They all rolled in and they burnt incense for my mum when they left the house, you know, because they're like, this is mum's house. Yeah, it's unreal losing a parent when you're that young, but you're that young where you have no fucking idea how to process that. Yeah. Like the only grief that I had ever experienced before then was burying 3 grandparents, where I quite literally had to dig a grave for one of them. It was like a tradition that we had to do, something in Viet tradition, yeah. That, and because like all the Viet boys, like traditional Viet boys, like, oh, look at this Western fat Viet boy. I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I took the skins off my hands to do it.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a really beautiful time, and like how you deal with grief. I was just so young. I'm still processing it now, right? Yeah. My mum died 2 days before my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, I cremated her on my birthday. Yeah. And when you lose your mum at 18 and then you bury her at 19, how does any of your friends that are your age group know how to communicate with you, right? How does anyone know how to develop that sort of language? So as I've gotten older, I was like, man, it would have been nice if mum knew me as a man, right? That's something I always think about. Yeah, I always sort of think, man, would she be disappointed in me? You know? Or like, would she, like, what would she think, like, about this tattoo that I just got or something? You know, it's like...
Maybe it's your question. That.
Yeah, yeah, like, it's not... I don't always self-deprecate with that. Like, I've made so many bad choices, you know, but the outcome has always been great. Yeah.
But could you say your positive outlook on life and this energy that you hold and that you bring, has that come from seeing so much darkness?
Oh, mate.
That when you do see a glimpse of light or any bit of light that many people may not be able to appreciate, you've just seen this immense darkness that you're saying, holy fuck, this is awesome. This every day, this normality, the beauty and the mundane, as I like to say sometimes.
Yeah. Shit gets dark, dude. Shit is very, very dark. And it's okay. You should embrace the dark, right? Like things fucking suck. And you should talk about it. Yeah. As soon as you're like a hollow human being on your own, that's where I think so many people have such an awkwardness to address grief, right? Like myself, like no one knew how to talk to me when I lost mum. I had uncles and like I had family members, being like, when are you going to go back to school?
Yeah.
Thinking like school, like going back to uni would take my mind off
Yeah.
my mum dying,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah, no, just embrace the suck, dude. Yeah, and
That's it.
get it all out. Because I remember, like, we had a couple drinks, and after a couple drinks, you can let it all out.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, dude, this fucking sucks. And I have my friends and some people that I trust enough to be vulnerable around. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm like the way I am today. Someone who's able to talk to people and be open about, being vulnerable because of these, circumstances, situations when you're just having some drinks with your closest mates and they create that, you feel that safe space.
You share, right?
Yeah. And then if you're with people who are willing to listen and just be like, hey, like,
I feel it's becoming more and more common the older we get, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, no one lives forever, right?
Yeah.
And it's inevitable that you're going to deal with some form of grief in your life.
100%.
And it's always nice to have someone you can share with.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, like, I have this great attitude or yada, 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 whatever, right? It's like, no, I've fucking gone through so much suck so early on in my life that I can talk and relate to my friends or my peers about the current suck going on in their life. Yeah, I have that language to communicate with them.
And we're not told to embrace the suck when it happens, to participate in the grief, because your parents and even your mentor at the tattoo or that first brought you in to build business cards, right?
Yeah.
We get thrown distractions at us. Oh,
yeah, dude.
All the time.
That's so bullshit. Yeah, that's so bullshit. I remember, like, I love my dad. I just remember when mum, as soon as I watched mum take her last breath, I woke up the entire family.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember, like, she was like, she's gonna go. And then it was my dad, my uncle, my sister, and my auntie. And they were all sleeping in the corridor. I was like, wake the fuck up, dude. I think she's about to go. And then, yeah, we all watched her take her last breath. And then my dad just says the most fucking offensive shit ever to me, where he said, you can cry now, but that's it. Don't cry anymore. Yeah. And to this day, I like can't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's it at all, but yeah. So that was on the point of what you said, where it was just like, don't express how you're feeling, because grief is so fucking confusing, dude. Like, we're laughing one minute, we're crying another time. You're lost, but then you're embraced. Yeah, it's so fucking surreal.
And you obviously cried. Was that your last cry then with your mum?
Oh shit, I cry all the fucking time now, the older I get, dude.
You just sit down.
Yeah. But like over over like heavy stuff, like no, yeah. When I was younger, I didn't cry. Now it's slowly getting there for me.
I wonder what it is. It could be, look, as we progress, men are taught, hey, you can feel your feelings now and you can embrace the suck and talk to your mates about it. Where back then with our parents and them seeing so much of their own anguish and hardship and trials, that they were like, no, you're not allowed to feel this. Men have to deal with it by themselves.
I think that's it for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think I'm a bit more emotionally stable now, but for so long I just couldn't work it up. I don't know. It's not even just about crying. I just didn't have that in me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
This just happens. people die. People die. That's it. But I think now through discussion, not even just between men, like between all genders and all sexes of my friends and stuff. If anything, like talking to like all my friends that are girls and all my friends that are like in the queer community, in the trans community, like it's fucking helped me so much in tune with my emotions. Yeah. Like I worked for Crucible Tattoo Company, Melbourne's first queer and trans tattoo studio.
Ah.
Yeah. I had no idea that was the case at all as a straight guy. But like my time there, fuck dude, like the things I learned and like from the artists that I worked with and from Zero, the owner of Crucible, it's like, dude, I'm like so more in tune with my emotions, right? Rather than being like my parents being like, oh, we just had this tragic event happen to us. Suck it up, But now I embrace the fucking suck hard.
And now I'm just wondering, from one generation to the next, and look, it is a different story moving from Vietnam, completely different scenarios, to Australia, right? But do you plan to have kids at all?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. My partner Evie's gonna fucking hate this, but like I just want to have triplets straight away. Yeah. I feel like just get it over and done with, because she's studying biochemistry. I'm like, you can put this shit together somehow, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to have kids one day. Yeah.
And just imagine, the generational change of safety, right? Because we grew up in safety.
Yeah.
Relative to our parents, or more than relative, right? But the safety of your kids growing up, and their old man is a tattoo artist who, I don't know, sucks his vape all day.
Oh my God.
There's a different kind of safety, and the ability to really be who they want to be, because you'll most definitely encourage that as well, rather than trying to draw lines and boundaries too much.
Of course. You guys would probably agree, like you wouldn't model your approach to parenthood from your own way of being parented, right? Like, if let's say we had kids, you would immediately think, how was I brought up? Exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, your own personal experience.
And I've talked to my partner about it, where like, I wish my parents had encouraged me and my sister through like artistic expression and through athleticism way more than, like you have a full 5-day school week and then tutor the next day, or tutor after school and then vet school and then another tutor. Yeah. But like, I just remember me and my sister were fucking hyper as fuck. Yeah. And we'd race each other on bikes and race other kids on bikes and whatever. And Tina really wanted to do tennis. But my mum and my dad were like, no, girls don't play tennis. Yeah. And stuff like that. So in my approach, I would love for my kids to like, whatever you want to do, just not meth. Like, do whatever the fuck you want, man. Yeah. If you want to go play basketball, I can't shoot hoops for shit, I'll take you to training.
100%.
But I secretly just want them to be like combative sport. I just want them to be like the Ronda Rouseys and the Mike Tysons and stuff. But I don't know how I would deal with my kid getting beaten up though. Like, do I just jump the ring and like kick the other kid or something?
Kick the other kid, or to kick the other UFC fighter?
No, maybe when they're pro and in the UFC. But yeah, whatever they want to do, I'd definitely encourage it.
And your point about, well, obviously you model what and how you're going to be a parent based on your parents, right? And it's more like what not to do than, that's what I think about. What am I not going to do? Because what you will do is your own flavor already.
Yeah.
I think we're having a discussion from 3 guys that don't have kids yet. Yes. Like, I've some of my friends, I've had the same discussion.
Yeah.
Like, as their partners are pregnant, and it's a whole different fucking person I've spoken to as soon as
yeah.
they have a kid, right? Yeah. So me talking about having kids in the UFC and shit and like getting their heads kicked in. As soon as I have a kid, I might be like a helicopter dad and be like, oh my God, putting cushions everywhere and shit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to comment on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
But I will encourage them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think about that now as well. Like, like what kind of dad would I be like? And yeah, you'd want to be that kind of dad's like, oh yeah, do this. And like I said, I might become that helicopter parent. Who knows? Because once that baby pops out, it's like your life changes, right?
Oh
like,
God.
I can't imagine what would go through my mind when you become that dad. You'd want to protect your child, right? But at the same time, you don't want to be too overprotective at the same time.
Have you guys seen some of your friends like grow to fatherhood at all? Like from finding out they're going to become a dad from the 9 months or however long it takes. Because I don't know how long it takes to have a baby.
Babies.
In between, different trimesters,
Yeah,
and then eventually seeing their kid for the first time. Have you seen that in your personal lives?
Not that I know of.
I've seen family
Yeah.
go through that, and it's just like, whoa, you're having a kid?
Yeah.
Right?
Should you have a kid? Is that what you're thinking?
But tell me about what you see with your mates, because...
I think it's like, when like we're having the same chat. This is the start, right? This is the chat we have. And then the next chat is like, dude, I'm going to be a dad. And the friends that are having kids, I have had kids, they just don't want to fuck up on anything, and so they're reading all the books, they're doing all this, they want to take care of their partner, and they're like, dude, I don't know how to cook, and so-and-so wants me to, you just got cravings for this, and then all that shit goes out the fucking window as soon as they see their kid, they're like a whole different guy, a whole different person. Yeah.
Imagine it. Imagine you're in the delivery room with your partner, and we can only imagine,
man.
right?
Yeah.
But
I'm terrified.
holding your son or your daughter in your arms for the first time, having the nurse hand you your son, say it's your son.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're a father now. Imagine that feeling.
I'd be like, happy birthday. You cause us so much grief. Like I said before, like how telling Evie, like, just push out 3 kids at the same time. If she pushes out one
Triple
kid,
the fun.
if I see her deliver one baby, and through that experience of that, I might be like, I don't want you to go through that ever again. Like, all jokes aside, I might be like, that's it, dude. Like, I don't want you to experience that ever again. So I just don't know. It's hard to say. But I'd love to have kids. Can you imagine like a couple of little teddies running around?
Hells yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna raise my kids like pit bulls, man.
So they're going to be jacked as shit by 12.
No. Sneak some shit in the baby bottle. I got a full Asian kids with facial hair at like 12 years old.
Like 6 foot.
Yeah.
Jacked.
Fuck yeah. My 12-year-old's got traps, man.
Is that anaconda? Shit.
That's mean.
That's me, man.
No. Lovers, not haters. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think we would talk about children and having kids about it in this podcast, man. Like, but that's where these podcasts go to, different directions, right?
Fuck yeah. You guys run a great show, man.
thank
I'm
you.
so grateful that you guys approached me.
We're grateful to be in the store.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come check it out.
Yeah.
Come get tattooed. We're going to get tattooed right after this.
Are we? You better be tattooing me. Don't touch me, man. I'll tattoo myself. Oh, wow.
You could tattoo to yourself. Have you tattooed yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was a terrible idea.
So don't do it. I won't do it then.
Yeah,
He's a master. I'm what?
I had to get Ethan to fix it up for me.
Which piece was it?
It's so stupid, dude. It's so fucking stupid. It's this one on my thigh where it's like a hand. Let's say you're looking directly down the barrel of a gun.
Okay.
Straight forward. So it's a hand holding a gun.
Right.
And on the knuckles of the gun, it says ACAB. Yeah. Stupid. But yeah.
And you just had to get him to fix it up for you.
Sorry?
And you just had to get him to fix it up for you.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because I imagine.
Isn't it ironic, like getting an all cops as bastards tattoo fixed up by your friend because you were like too chicken shit to fucking bury that shit in your leg in the first place? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dumb idea. Don't tattoo yourself. Actually, fucking do whatever you want, man.
Do whatever you want. 2022, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But look, thank you for coming on. It's been so much fun.
It has been.
So much fun.
That's been really fun.
Yeah.
Hey? Yeah.
Just having a few drinks and just chilling, just having some banter.
I hope you guys come back and we can just like hang out at the bar or something. Yeah.
Do it.
I'd love that.
For sure.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure meeting you too, and just love your energy, man.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, it's been good. Yeah. I want that Okiru hoodie, please.
Oh, Dad, we're gonna get you.
I'm not getting paid for this shit. So if you guys knew my hourly rate, you guys would be weeping right now. So I want that merch.
Okay, all right. We'll set you up. Don't worry.
And when we do end podcasts, we ask 3 questions.
Oh shit! Yes, you totally do. I remember listening to it. I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm gonna come out with a slamming answer right now." Oh shit! I forgot about that.
That's all right. Look, the first question that we always ask is, what are you grateful for?
Fuck. That's not what I'm grateful for. My chosen family. Yeah. Coming from a very broken and disrupted family, the friends and friends who are now obviously my family. I am so grateful for them. Yeah, deeply. Yeah.
And I see that, and coming to your parties, I see so much love there, so much love, and it's so beautiful to, I guess, be a part of and to watch it all unfold as well. And it's evident when you step into this place.
Man, you guys are fucking a part of it too, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, give yourselves a pat on the back.
So the next question we'll have to ask is, what have you realized?
Oh man,
He's a legend.
what have I realized? Oh man. This sounds so fucking corny, but like life is so short, dude. Life is so quick. Yeah. I see my dad's life going through 360 through me now. Does that make sense? Where like I see myself becoming a dad or becoming the man that my dad is. So I've realized, fuck, I gotta do so much. Yeah. Like I gotta do as much as I can to my full capacity all the time. Yeah. Like before I said like, yeah, dude, like after the accident, I go fucking hard. Like I full send everything. Yeah. I realized because it's so brief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with tattooing, that makes you realize that too, where like I'll tattoo on Tuesday. Out of nowhere, it's Sunday, and I realize, dude, I got to draw up the next tattoo for Tuesday. Yeah. So, yeah, go for it. Well, yeah.
Beautiful. And the last question is, what is the question you ask yourself?
Dude, who the fuck asked these questions?
That's me, man. I'm sorry, bro. That was me.
What is a question that I would ask myself? I'm questioning myself about that question right now. Everything I'm going to say sounds so fucking corny. Did I do enough? Yeah. Did I do enough at like setting up the shop for dinner with my partner, with my family, with my friends? Have I done enough? Have I been present enough? Have I been a good enough friend or whatever relationship I am in? Have I been enough? Yeah.
That's a beautiful question. I think it's a question.
That's a fucking ripper question, dude.
It's a ripper question.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because it's like, man, all you got left is your legacy, right? Yeah.
And it's something that we should be asking ourselves. Like I read a book recently called The Power of One More. I'm still reading it, but it's just the ability to think and ask yourself, can I do one more? Can I do one more thing for myself? Can I do one more thing for the person I care about? And it's just that pretty similar to that question, have I done enough? And it's about doing that one more. If you can go that extra step, then you know you've done enough. Right?
In every aspect, dude. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's it.
That's a great one. Great question. Now that I think about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So where can the Akiru listeners find you?
They can find me at Anderson Street Tattoo in Yarraville. We have an array of artists here to accommodate wherever you want, or even if you guys want to come in for a chat. Yeah, that's where you guys can find me. And I live at... Just kidding.
And how about your artist page?
I go by... It's all one text, no underscores or anything. I just go by Steady Teddy Tattoo. Yeah.
Dope. Make sure you check him out, guys. And Ted, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you and having this conversation. Freaking loved it. Like, your energy is felt like by all of us, and I'm sure by the listeners too. So thanks so much, and we hope you found value in this conversation.
Fuck yeah. Thank you for having me. Thank you, brother.
And always take care.
Yeah.
Always get up. Let's go, Ted. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thanks heaps.
Appreciate it.
What a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you, Liam.
Okiru.